Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Something doesn't make sense about the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case, and maybe you can help me. Lilly and Jack Sullivan disappeared from their trailer off of Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, Canada. And Mom has been MIA since May 3rd, the day after they disappeared, which has the public kind of enraged. Many people question the statements from Malehya Brooks-Murray, which are the kids' mom, and their stepfather, or quasi-stepfather, Daniel Martell. They basically stated that these two very loud children managed to get out of the house without making any noise, got into the backyard, somehow finagled out of the backyard, and got lost in all of this terrain. But I digress. That's not what this video is about. What this video is about is the story that has been rumored about why Malehya wasn't staying at home. Malehya has tribal connections, so many people wondered why she didn't stay on the reservation. Many people rumored that it had something to do with the tribe not accepting her 2 other children. But I'm not sure that's accurate, because where was she staying before she met Daniel? These were still her children. Many people are using that rumor as a way to justify why these children are gone, that they weren't accepted into the tribe, and now with them missing, they've been accepted into the tribe. And I don't know who's passing that around. But again, where were these kids living before she met Daniel? They were living on the reservation. Make that make sense. We have breaking new information on the manhunt related to Travis Decker, which is on the run in Washington State. We were told he may be heading north to Canada, but the trajectory and his path of travel right now, according to law enforcement, is heading south. According to Chelan County Sheriff Morrison, he stated a few different things. 1, they have tracked his scent. 2, they found multiple items out there in their search that are items of interest. 3, hikers spotted a lone man not suited for the elements. 4, law enforcement saw this lone hiker not suited for the elements, but he ran away from them. He ran away as the helicopter was approaching. They did find footprints that they have been tracking. I have no earthly idea what is going on in Travis Decker's mind. All I know is I'm ready for this manhunt to end. I'm ready for justice to be had. And I'm praying for Whitney Decker, Peyton, Olivia, and Evelyn's mom. Guys, I don't usually get political on this channel, but something really just gets under my craw. There was a congressional hearing where they had governors from Minnesota, Illinois, and New York. So this is Tim Walz, this is J.B. Pritzker, and this is Kathy Hochul. But it's Kathy Hochul's comments that really enrage me. It was this questioning here between her and this particular congressional overseer. I'm unfamiliar with who this is. It is her comments. So whether or not you believe in sanctuary policies or not, I would definitely think that everybody wants safety, no matter where you come from or why you're here in the United States. For this lady to have policies and not even know what her policies are doing to her own citizens is disgusting to me. Sagir Akin, he's accused of R-ing a 15-year-old girl and threatening her. And she had no idea who this person was, although it was all over the news in New York and, of course, across the nation. We all knew about this. But if you didn't, there's no way you wouldn't have known about the next one. This is Sebastian Zabetta, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. But this was well known. Everybody knew about this. Somehow, Kathy Hochul from New York had no knowledge of either one of these cases in her state. Now, if you're going to have policies, at least know what the policies are doing to your community. But she signed this policy 3 separate times and let both of those individuals walk before they committed their atrocities. I'm sorry. That's not okay with me. Is it okay with you? Let me know your thoughts. channel in the morning on the tube, because we're full of, I'm just joking, we're full of love. We're full of love. Oh, come on. It is Monday. Happy Manic Monday to my beautiful, I don't know if I can say those words online anymore. I got an empty bucket over here, and Sonia wants to make sure the bucket stays empty. Just say it. It's nice to see you all. I see your beautiful faces. Panda Bear's mom up here advocating for Devlin Tate. If you do not know Devlin Tate's story, he is an 18-year-old autistic child, or on the spectrum, young adult, I guess he's not a child, he's an adult. But there are some weird things around his story that don't really make sense. He disappeared in April of this year, if I'm not mistaken, from Lake Odessa, Michigan. And he was at a store. He picked up some things, went back to his house. He ended up telling his brother, potentially. We haven't dived into all of the key factors in the case. It's just going off memory. Please do your own research and avocation for Devlin Tate. Before we dive into any of the stories we have been covering, the Lilly and Jack Decker, Sebastian Rogers, Summer Wells, before we dive into any of those cases this morning, we're going to take a moment to go over to Arkansas. I took the day off yesterday after church. I had been traveling. I just needed some rest, some much needed rest. I took my much needed rest. I didn't do crap yesterday. I didn't even wash my clothes. So today is going to be a busy day. As you guys are well aware, we are starting significantly later than we usually start on a Monday morning. That's because I have been doing a lot of crap around this house and getting some much needed paperwork that needed to be done today and off and in the mail today. So that stuff has been taken care of. And now we're just moving forward, right? So I'm kind of getting my bearings, and I figured, since I took the day off yesterday, you guys don't really get a whole lot of behind the scenes with Bullhorn Betty. So we're not only going to cover the cases and get updated in real time together, we're also going to do some independent research on some other things to show you kind of what I do in the mornings. Why not? You guys never get to see behind the scenes. This is behind the scenes today. And then we're probably going, depending on where we are in time, today's going to be the day that we're only, that we have together. Tomorrow's going to be a crazy day for me. Thursday, we're going to have to do a live earlier in the morning because I've got an appointment in the afternoon. So I want to make sure I'm available for that appointment. So that's going to be kind of our week, but we're going to be on pretty much all day. So you guys are going to see me here. I'm going to be taking several hours throughout the day. I've got other obligations that have to be done. But for the most part, I'm going to be on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, and X all day today, pushing out content and information to you guys. If we have time, we're going to take a sneak peek into the Idaho 4. Everybody knows we've been out there. We've been out there for a significant amount of time. We spent over 2 weeks, 2 separate tours out there in Moscow, Idaho, covering this case. Our second trip, we had just met with the Gonzalez the night before to get an interview with them. And I know during our conversations, once those cameras were turned off, one of their biggest fears was that they were doing the memorial for the 2 girls. Not related to the school, but their personal celebration of life for Maddie as well as Kaylee. And their biggest fear was that the perpetrator was going to come there and shake the parents' hands, just as, I don't know. And that was their biggest fear. And so that next morning we woke up and got situated. They were coming in there to clear out the house. And then all of a sudden the cleaners packed up and started leaving. And we started hearing that there was an arrest in the case. And that arrestee was Brian Koberger. And we were rushing around to try to figure out where Brian Koberger was. We were trying to figure out where he was living. And we ended up packing up our stuff and running over to Pullman, Washington, where we went to his apartment. And they were executing the search warrant and going in there and ripping everything out. So that's kind of where we were in the Idaho 4 case and Brian Koberger's case. So if we have some time today, we'll dive into it. It's not going to be pretty footage. It's going to be raw footage, not edited footage. So you never know. You might actually get some bloopers in there and some things that probably shouldn't be on camera, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll roll with it. I mean, it can't be too bad, right? Let's hope not. Let's see if Will Hornbuddy can get kicked off of YouTube today. Okay, we're going to try. We're going to try real hard. Kiki, it's nice to see you. And everybody else that came in here, I tried to make sure that I got your names up during the intro. I saw you guys all in here. Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see our beautiful coffee beans bright and early Monday, but we're all late, right? Because I started late. But we've got a really sad story, one that kind of just doesn't make sense to a lot of us, and I'm sure many of you guys were aware of this particular situation going on yesterday. And from my understanding, this happened not just yesterday, but what was it, Thursday or Friday? Let me just see what day it actually happened. But it was over the weekend. In this particular article, I don't see any date in it. So we'll just read it. Police were called on Saturday. So this all kind of took place on Saturday. Today's Monday. So breaking news over the weekend. It was breaking yesterday. And I didn't run the story again. I was just taking the day off, but I was monitoring it. It's hard not to hear about this because it's so weird. Apparently a mom and a dad with their 2 children went camping and were out in Arkansas at Devil's Den State Park. And let me pause this. I don't want it lagging my system down. Give me just a second. There, it's paused. So they were at Devil's Den State Park, and just that name alone kind of sends shivers up your spine. Been there forever. You know, like even Devil's Mountain, where is that? In Idaho or Utah or somewhere out there in the Midwest. And we went to it when we were younger. That's why I can't remember where it was. I was a little kid. I think it was like 11 or 12 maybe at the time we went, at the absolute most of my age. So everybody was kind of, because it's Devil's Den, you know, parents were basically slaughtered out there in front of their 2 young children, and the children were unhurt. They weren't injured in this attack in any way. I don't know if it's because the parents got, protected them, but just I can't imagine what these children are going through, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't understand what these children are going through. It had been a very horrific experience, but I'm going to read one of the articles so you guys can all be up to date with what is available to the public right now. It says a married couple was found dead on a walking trail in Devil's Den State Park on Saturday afternoon. Arkansas State Police said, adding that the suspect being sought and the deaths are being investigated as a potential double homicide. State police identified victims on Sunday as 43-year-old Clint David Brinks and his wife, 41-year-old Kristen Amanda Brink. In a statement issued on Sunday, the Arkansas State Police said the couple was killed while out hiking with their 2 daughters. Their daughters' ages were 7 and 9 years old, who were not injured in the incident. Brink's children are safe and in the custody of relatives, according to police. The family is asking for privacy during this difficult time as they grieve and learn how to navigate this new reality. They ask that if anyone has information at all that will help this investigation, to please contact the proper authorities immediately. Clinton and Kristen died heroes protecting their young girls, and they deserve justice. They will forever live on in our hearts, a statement released from Brinks and Osgood's family. So what we're learning is we're using all available resources to apprehend this suspect and to bring him to justice. Colonel Mike Hager of Arkansas State Police said in a statement released on Sunday. Investigators have not commented on the matter and circumstances of the couple's death, but said they have launched a double homicide investigation and are asking for the public's help in identifying the suspect. In an updated statement released on Sunday afternoon, Arkansas State Police said they now believe the suspect is a white man with a medium build and wearing dark pants and a dark baseball cap and sunglasses. The man was also wearing a long-sleeved shirt with the sleeves rolled up. Police initially said the suspect was wearing a tank top. So it's a different appearance. And you know what? It's possible with something buttoned up with long sleeves, you could probably have a wife beater under there. So it is possible that the man either has a tank top or this long sleeve with rolled up sleeves. I wouldn't pay attention to the rolled up sleeves because he can just roll them down. But it's a long sleeve shirt, maybe a long sleeve shirt with a tank top wearing medium build white guy. The suspect was also carrying a black backpack and wearing fingerless gloves. And when I think of fingerless gloves, I'm thinking of motorcycle gloves for some reason. I don't know why, like those cross bikes, not the motorcycle type bikes, but like the crotch rockets and the dirt bikes and stuff like that. Everybody, when we used to go out dirt biking, everybody would have the fingerless gloves. So I don't know. When I saw that, I was just imagining that, or weightlifting type gloves. I guess weightlifting, maybe that's what they said. Weightlifting type gloves, according to the police. He was last seen driving toward a park exit in a black 4-door sedan. So he is mobile. He has a vehicle. This is what's so bizarre to me. And it's hard. It's hard for me to... This guy is out there in Devil's Den, Arkansas, right? Yes, weightlifting gloves are also like that. Gotcha. He has a vehicle, so he's not a transient that's living out there in, the wilderness. He's obviously mobile. So a few things come to my brain just with that tidbit of information right there. It just comes to my brain. One is, who knew these people were going to be in that state park? I'm sorry, you got to ask, because you know how I am. Is this a stranger danger? It could very well be. But you know what? We don't know these people. Could this be a hit? Was somebody having an affair? Was there money on the table? Was there any type of, did they see or witness a crime? Is this a person that they came upon and just disturbed, maybe out there utilizing substances that they're not supposed to utilize? Or maybe, out there in dense woods, we have a kind of a bootlegging type of manufacturing plants. Okay, they're all over this country. I know this for a fact. This is not, now where they are, I don't know, but I absolutely know for a fact that there are cooking locations deep in the woods that are they're making meth and other type of substances. Okay. Could they have come across something like that? I would be shocked if somebody had something like that in a state park. A state park that people, come and meander around periodically throughout the year. Okay. And I have to think some of those areas are tourist destinations and have, seasons where they're more populated in certain parts of the year than other parts of the year. So now that brings me back to that really doesn't hold a whole lot of water here if you look at it from that, because it's in a state park. Nobody's going to be stupid enough to be setting up a math lab in a state park. I'd hope not. It seems like, the park rangers and stuff like that would eventually stumble across, it just seems stupid, wholly stupid to do something like that. So now this brings me back to, why would a man be assaulting these? So there's more information here. Was he trying to kidnap the kids? We know that this has been an uptick in our country for a while. There, for the longest time, we just knew our children were leaving. We think they're running away, and come to find out they're being yoked up off the streets and used as objects and discussed. Just men. We're not going to go there. But now we're realizing that is not really why our children are disappearing. They're disappearing in these underground systems, much like what is going on in Bibb County, Arkansas, right? This is pretty much in the same county. Are people yoking up these children for disgusting purposes? She supposedly went back to help her husband and was killed, but why would you go back without taking help with you? Guys, I'm going to tell you this, and please take this. There's nothing that's going to prepare you for shock when something presents itself, like somebody just pops out of the bushes and has a firearm in their hands and is pointing at your head, right? You're going to freeze. You're going to, you're never going to prepare for the shock that sets in almost immediately. Okay. But at some point, when you have an opportunity to run, you run. Okay. You are no good being a victim of homicide. You are no good to anybody. So if you ever get it where you're in a position where you're met with bodily harm and you've gotten away from that danger, the best help you can be is getting real help out there. You're ill-equipped to take on the threat. Understand that. Don't feel guilty of having to leave your family members or even your children behind. Some people don't understand it, but sometimes there's nothing you can do but save yourself and try to get help there as quickly as possible. And that means your children too, because you're going to have to get help to them. No? You're going to have to make sure immediate help is brought to your children if something is going. Don't ever sit there and freeze because you think you're going to be able to save your children when you've got situations like that. The best help you can do is get away and run and get help. And you need to condition your mind that you have to do whatever you need to do to protect yourself and your family. And laying there and being left to slaughter right along with your family is not helping them, and it's not helping you. The hell with public opinion. Okay? The hell with public opinion. So you've got to do this is a situation. Now, I don't know if the lady went back or not, but if she did, look at her. She's right there with her husband. Was that the best decision for her to make? If that really was the decision, it was not. And now she's a victim as well. And I know that emotions are strong, and your brain, again, it's hard. You can prepare for for situations like this, and when it happens, you still do everything wrong. There's no good answer. But just try to keep your crap together and realize you need to get away from the threat and you need to get help there immediately. Those should be the only things. Get it going through your mind is how to get out of there and how to get help there immediately. Nothing's going to take this. But again, this 4-door sedan, what was this guy doing here? And why would he kill people he didn't know? The body automatically goes into fight or flight. It does. And sometimes it wants to fight when you need to flight. And it's uncontrollable. I mean, your brain, that's why I keep talking about brains and and you don't realize how much your brain controls you. And you have a sick brain, the rest of your body, it can be sick at times. And even when you have a perfect head on your shoulders, you introduce some shock, some fight or flight in there, you don't know what to do. Everything is rolling around like it is a jumbled mess in your head. A jumbled mess. There is not a legitimate or cognizant thought in shock. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. I really don't. I don't know how to explain it. And they said that he might be driving a Mazda with a license plate covered up by electrical or duct tape. That tells me premeditation. So again, it goes back to, what was this guy in this state park for? So one of two things is going on here. Okay, one theory is he truly could have been at a family-friendly park hunting for children with their family. He could have. Which scares the crap out of me, because this means to tell me that I have to now warn my entire audience, whenever you go to state parks, you're going to have to be very careful. Because they're preying grounds for these animals. You don't have to worry about the coyotes, the bears, the foxes. You have to worry about the guy watching you in the flannel, or not the flannel, what is it? Camouflage in the woods. Is there no place that families can go and feel safe in America anymore? But what if it wasn't that? This still seems awfully suspect, no? A guy's out there? How many people were in the area? How many people were in the area at the time this guy drove in or drove out? Who knew this family was going to be at that state park? I'm at a state park now, but locked and loaded. Good. It's sad this world has come to not even being able to enjoy. Right. Absolutely. That's why I stay home most of the time. We shouldn't have to be locked in our house. We pay too much damn money to our government to be able to be outside of the house. I'm sorry. They have the duty to keep us safe, and they're not doing it. And they're not doing it because they're spending too much money, fighting each other than taking care of the people that are paying them to take care of the people. So, what do you do? But, did I just knock myself off again? Good gracious. See if I can get this back on. Hold on a second. Sorry. It happens. It's not going to put me back on. So frustrating. So frustrating. It's not even going to put me back on. Okay, give me just a second. Let me knock this completely off. There we go. I'm not going to say it. 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 I'm just going to sit here and just keep my mouth shut. We're going to be off this. I'm working on it now. I got a lot of stuff on my plate to do, but one of them is getting us away from StreamYard. I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise. Hey, JoJo. It's nice to see you. Lady for Justice. Riv, Stephanie. Hey, guys. So, I don't know. I'm really weird. So one of two things, like, I'm really strong that he was either there to snatch a kid or he was there specifically targeting this family. I really don't know of any other possibilities where somebody would preemptively tape up their license plate. Somebody the other day we stayed at Jellystone. In Tennessee? I wish I would have known. Wish I would have known. The city of Joplin put out a warning yesterday, said be prepared to protect yourself. Wow. Friends of ours are friends of this channel are from Joplin, Missouri, and I didn't realize that they made a documentary on a twister that hit Joplin. And I watched that, and you guys know I'm in Florida, and I deal with hurricanes and tornadoes, but not to the not to the we have tornadoes here in Florida, but nothing like Midwest tornadoes. Okay. Ours are more like water spouts. Do they do destruction? Yes. They can destroy. Joplin is not far from Devil's Den. Wow. That tornado in Joplin was huge. That's what I heard. It was like, I think, the largest recorded in history at the time. I think that might even in their history to today, but I don't want to say that because I didn't look into it. Maryland. Oh, Maryland one. Notice that they have a few of them. Oh, that's interesting. Several bodies found searching for initial one of man murdered in the woodlands. I actually thought they would find more bodies looking for Travis Decker out there in Washington, because those are, when you have like the mountainous terrain and the uneven area, people just go missing. People that people don't even know that's in the area go missing. Like they'll break their leg, they'll hurt themselves, they'll fall off a ravine, there's just so many things. They'll be attacked by animals, snakes, and just perish out there in the middle of nowhere off the beaten path. And nobody will find them for years and years and years. You're usually just a bag of bones by the time they're found, but they're found. I mean, we witnessed it in the Brian Laundrie case. We've witnessed it in the Sebastian Rogers case. I mean, people found freaking a body in a freaking cemetery. A 16-year-old, nonetheless, body in a cemetery. What? And so we're all freaking out thinking it was Sebastian, and it wasn't. It had nothing to do with Sebastian, but there were several people that were found searching for Sebastian. There was about 9 people found searching for Brian Laundrie. So with them being this deep into the forestry, and I do believe they did find at least some remains, if I remember correctly. I think there were some remains that were ultimately discovered somewhere in Washington. I don't know if it was in the area that they were searching for Travis or not, but I just assumed that they would have, additional, I don't know. Guys, let me just refresh. I was doing good, and now my bandwidth is messed up. So give me just a second. Let me just refresh. I'll be right back. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's much better. And it came back up again. I don't like. I can't stand. And it dropped completely off now. It's just annoying. I hate StreamYard, but we'll just keep rolling through. So now comes up to the Caitlyn Harp, Caitlyn Lane case. The family really wants her Caitlyn Lane, but it's hard for me because her lawful legal name is Caitlyn Harp, and I'd love nothing more than to honor the family's requests, but her lawful legal name is Caitlyn Harp. And the thumbnail actually is from a photo taken in that area in PA, the road to nowhere. That was actually part of the Caitlyn Harp case, because that was a photo on the road going to where her body was dumped, a road to nowhere. Her sister ended up finding her about 9 days after she disappeared. Caitlyn Harp was a mother. She struggled with substance abuse. She was getting her life together. She married, I guess, basically the big cheese, the dealer, the OG, whatever he was. Vinny came from a family of sex, drugs, rock and roll. Father, punishing him by taking him up by his foot and hanging him over fires, really screwing with the kid's head. And that has manifested himself into an adult with major mental issues and substance abuse problems that likes to obviously beat on women. He has been charged with her death. He's trying to say that she had, an OD by basically taking, it's whippets, or I think the clinical name is nitrous oxide. It is what is used to prepare whipped cream. Okay, this nitrous oxide little fillers are actually used in culinary purposes, and people utilize it for non-culinary purposes for a cheap euphoria-like effect. Okay, and that's basically what he was saying happened to Caitlyn, that she OD'd, or she likes to put a bag over her head. When he came in there, she was deceased, but instead of rendering aid to her or calling law enforcement to revive her, he decided to freak out and go dump her body. He's acknowledging that he dumped her body on the property. It doesn't seem, from the reports I saw, it seems to me that he may not have dumped her body out there in the wilderness, or he may have picked her back up and put her back in the car, because we took a dog out there, and the dog was, a little antsy. There was definitely, you could definitely see the behavior change in Jules' dog. I always mess up the dog's name, so I can't remember, but it started with the A. It's her A dog, right? It's her A dog, not Gator. It's the other one. Ara. I remember the name now, Ara. And so you could, we were together. We met somewhere. I got in her vehicle with her and Ara, and Ara was chill and everything. But when we started getting closer and closer to the location, you could physically and invisibly see Ara start making some changes, being more alert, being more attentive. She was already starting to get some type of weird vibe or scent from being out there. And the closer we got to the spot, the more antsy she was getting. I believe I saw he dumped her body initially at off that Shade Mountain. Yeah, that's what I thought. But the way some of the subsequent news articles came out, it almost implies that he unalived or got the box and took her out to the final location, which everything that I read and every, spot that I went to out there, it seemed like they were important. And I do believe she was absolutely taken out of his vehicle and put on the ground, because the way Ara was acting. Even if she couldn't place specifically, like she had an area that she was all kinds of weird in this like little area. And then she would be normal outside of the area. You get closer to that area, she started getting a little weird. So I truly believe that Vinny physically took her out of his vehicle and placed her on the ground. I don't know if when he realized his truck was stuck, whether he went back and picked her up and put her back in the vehicle with him, or if he just left her there and truly went back. But when he got the box in the back of his Silverado, that was the second vehicle, and went back there later that night around 5:40 to 6 o'clock at night, why would he have to go back to Shade Mountain with that box if she was not at Shade Mountain? So I truly believe he took her out. He placed her there. That's where her final resting place was going to be. But he got his truck stuck. He had to have it pulled out. People knew him. People saw him. And they even recorded him. And you could see on his face when they saw the lady recording, he did not look like a happy camper. And the family truly believes that he was all the way out there, almost 40 minutes to an hour away from his home, because he was trying to set up Caitlyn's ex, the person that has the custody of her son. He was trying to set up her son's father to take the fall. But he got busted because his truck got stuck because he was a bonehead. If he would have, I drove around his house by accident. I took his address off because I didn't want to go buy the house again. I didn't need to. If I needed to, I would have. I really don't care.
But I didn't need to. So I wanted to be out there on the main road and be at the Fairview address and just do the trip. But what had happened is I accidentally I thought I took their address off, and I didn't take the address off the GPS. And so I thought I was going to Shade Mountain, and it took me an opposite direction, but it really had their Fairview address in it, and took me in this complete circle in the back side of their house. So there was another way to their house. Well, when I got there, because of this mistake, Stearns got caught because of the flat tire, and this guy got caught because of his truck being stuck. But when I drove that and made that mistake and ended up coming back to the Fairview property, he had literally around that home, guys, I'm telling you, if he would have went around the block of his home and dumped her right there in those woods near his home, they would have never found her. It was so much. I truly, if he would have gotten her back far enough, I truly don't believe they would have ever found her. He would have never had to go to Shade Mountain. He would have never had to do any of that. That's what tells me he was completely out of his mind and not thinking clearly. Because when I drove around their house and I was looking at it from a search perspective, you guys know we do searches. We do not do SARS type of we're looking for microscopic evidence type of stuff. I'm looking for a human being. It doesn't matter whether it's a baby, whether it's an adolescent, whether it's a teenager, or whether it's an adult. It's a large item, okay? And that's the way I look. I let law enforcement do their investigation. When I'm out there, I'm looking for a person, okay? I'm not looking for microscopic evidence. If we see something, we tag it, we cordon it off. We have protocols in place for stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I'm looking for a big person. And when I looked at that, and I was looking at places to start, because you guys know I look at the maps and I start from ground zero, work my way out. I would have started from their house and worked my way out. That means I would have wanted to look in all those woods in and around her house. But there were so many of them. Even if I had a team of 100 people, we would have never been able to get through that in a week's time. 100 people. If he put her, I mean, we're very thankful he's a knucklehead, because this case may be another one that would have went unsolved. Ted Bundy got caught on a traffic stop. Yep. Brian Koberger got caught on a traffic stop. Really? I mean, that's what identified him in that car. That's what identified him not having that front license plate prior to this, that they could use as evidence in his hearing. So I truly believe had it not been for his mistakes, he would have had no problems hiding her and getting away with it for years. I believe he would have eventually been caught. And I believe that they would have eventually found her body, but it would have went for years and years and years. And the reason why I think this is because Summer Wells, okay? Summer Wells disappeared on June 15th, 2021. Michael Monkey Vaughn, which is another case we're going to touch on after this, just had his 4-year milestone yesterday, which was a melancholy day for me. It wasn't one of the reasons why I chose not to go live. Again, I just needed a day off. But what a melancholy day it was, for me, because we covered that case in depth, and we went out there and did boots on the ground, spoke to a lot of people that were boots on the ground that day when he disappeared, including the drone operator. One of the drones got shot out of the sky. I had an opportunity to interview the drone operator. And that was a great interview. I don't know if I ever released that or not, but that would be a good one that we could, talk about. But yesterday was his 4 years. Now, granted, we know, we have an idea what happened to Michael Monkey Vaughn, and it's horrific. It sounds like he was SA'd by the people that took him. Brandon Shurtleff is a disgusting dirtbag that doesn't deserve to breathe the same oxygen as the rest of us, along with Adrian Lewson and the Wandras. But Brandon Shurtleff, to me, seems to be the biggest, most disgusting dirtbag of them all. I believe he's the one that hurt Michael Monkey Vaughn the most. If I had to put a person on it, it would be Brandon Shurtleff. I guess only time will tell whether that assessment is factual. Okay, that is my opinion. That is my opinion. 44 years ago yesterday, Adam Walsh. Think about that. Michael Monkey Vaughn being kidnapped on the 40th anniversary. The 40th. But when I went out there for Caitlyn Harp, it reminded me of Summer Wells. And I look at that area and I think, he could have literally hid her in his backyard and nobody would have ever found her. Nobody. Layla Santinello, thank you, Pebbles. Holland Snap. We've got a lot of people that are missing. Lots of them. But the one that's been most disturbing that deserves justice, all of them deserve justice. Let me make sure I make that statement. But it's Michael Monkey Vaughn because we know what the flip happened. We know who were involved. We know what happened. Brandy Neal, her husband. Actually, I think she's Brandy Vaughn now. I think they did finally, Tyler and Brandy Vaughn. They deserve answers. My understanding is Brandy, she's not doing well. I'm hoping she's doing better. Cody, I believe his dad's military. His dad had the stomach to do literally the unthinkable with Cody, and I absolutely believe he did. I don't think there's going to be much of Cody left. They'll never find him. If I had to guess where Cody is, he's in a landfill somewhere. A lot of our children, believe it or not, are probably in landfills somewhere. I wish they would have technology that could scan the garbage as they're crushing it to find out if there's any human bones. And maybe one day there will be that technology, and maybe we can force our waste management to be using those, But we've got to start finding. So there's so many. I truly believe a lot of missing people that have never been found are truly in landfills, and it's because it's so easy to do and to throw away. A lot of the like the kids, they're so small and their weight's not the weight of an adult, and so we've all had very, very heavy bags we've thrown in the garbage can. Nobody's going to pay attention. They're just not. I always wondered because, there's a couch missing from Summer Wells, and I truly believe they transported her out of that house in that couch somehow, or moved that couch somewhere until they could get it out of the house. I don't know. The couch missing has always bothered me because it's such a large piece of furniture, and nobody's ever been able to tell us where that couch is. Don's never talked about it. We definitely know it was there. Everybody that we talked to that has been inside that house, that has been down in that basement, which is where they would be utilizing their substances and stuff like that, say that couch was there. I had about 5 or 6 different people acknowledge that couch being in front of that downstairs door. So that's, the Summer Wells case, and Michael Monkey Vaughn being yesterday, his 4-year milestone. It's just been a very melancholy, few last 30, 45 days with the Summer Wells. And it's both of these cases, Michael Monkey Vaughn, Summer Wells, both solvable cases. I think Michael Monkey Vaughn's case is a lot closer. Like, there should be charges at this point. The idea that there are no charges, and I think the one thing is nobody has broke their silence on picking up the one link they can't get, in my opinion, is the actual kidnapping when it comes to Michael Monkey Vaughn. I think that's the missing link in their case. But their vehicle being the only vehicle in the area at the time, I just don't see how they can't get over it. You know, how they can't get over it. They should be able to find it. Let's see here. Where are we on time? Okay, we're good on time. And then of course we have Sebastian Wayne-Drake Rogers. Sebastian, 15 years old, disappeared from his home. He was residing there with his mother. His mother has questionable behaviors. Stepfather has questionable behaviors, history of child abuse inside that home. It's just history of CPS being involved in that home. The biological father had no knowledge of what was going on in that home, but has been very much involved in his son's life. Hashtag Chris Proudfoot, hashtag Katie Proudfoot. They have a lot of explaining to do. Seth has told me that he believes Katie hates him a lot, but he doesn't believe he hates him enough to hurt Sebastian this way. I think the lady is crazy. I think the lady is up. I think her childhood is up. I think she comes from a home of abuse. I think because of her mother, she's never been able to have a good idea of what a mother figure is in a child's life. And therefore it has screwed her up, just screwed her up. She has been a very violent lady from some of the conversations I've had. I will be looking more into that aspect so I can bring some receipts to the table. I believe I've got receipts to support that. So we can take it from my opinion to a factual statement that Katie is violent. But again, right now, that is an assessment, that is an opinion. Once I get some documentation, which I plan on getting, even if I have to drive there to get it, I truly believe we will have some more clarity on the situation. Now, Chris Proudfoot doesn't really want kids, hates kids, treats kids like shit, has beat kids in prior relationships, according to other his ex-spouses. Predominantly Nina Gomez said he beat her children, backhanded her child through Faith. A man that does not deserve, he's too hot-headed. He's too hot-headed. That's why they sent him to the military or prison, because he was a fucked up individual back when he was a teenager. And he's even more of a individual now that he's an adult. He should be, in my opinion, hashtag Christopher Proudfoot should be in jail for the abuse perpetrated on Sebastian Wayne-Drake Rogers. And hashtag Katie Proudfoot should be in jail for allowing it to happen. This has nothing to do with their child missing. Absolutely zero to do with their child missing. I want to see hashtag Chris Proudfoot in jail for his crimes against Sebastian Rogers. That's what I would like to see. I think we're getting a little close. We're getting closer. I think our persistence behind the scenes has been working. I've seen Lisa Byington retire. I've seen Ray Whitley, the prosecutor of that county, retire. We are breaking down the good old boys club in Sumner County. And I just want to ask Sumner County a real quick question. How's your taxpayers for you now? Since you didn't want to have outsiders in your county, how is that working out for you now? Do you understand now that you work for everybody, including outsiders? I'm just asking. Because I have a funny feeling what just happened was a favor. I'll take it. whatever it was. I'll take it. So I do believe our outside, that's us pounding on social media nonstop, all of our politicians about Sebastian Rogers. Being on X, being on Instagram, constantly making those comments on those politicians' pages. And we have been doing that relentlessly for over a year. Over a year. Go to Bill Lee. Every time he brought anything up about, accolades to doing this or doing that, or children this or children that, I was always there. What about Sebastian Rogers? What about Sebastian Rogers? What about the corruption in Sumner County? How do you arrest somebody for hashtags in Florida? I don't even understand how they have jurisdiction. Where's the law and order? Why do we have corruption? Constantly, every single day, I think for months, I was up Bill Lee's craw. I know he didn't come over to my page to check me out. I know that because I asked Grok who's the most famous person that's visited my page. You know who the most famous person that visited my page? One of my idols. One of my idols. You know who it was? The Deception Detective. There's just something. I'll take it. I take it. I don't quite get it. Sumner County need update on Sebastian. They're not going to give it. You know why? Because they completely up the case. They have completely screwed it up. I truly believe it. I have no faith in Sumner County. I have no faith in TBI. I lost faith in TBI back in Summer Wells. I rolled my eyes when they introduced themselves in this case. I knew we were going to have problems. TBI, I'm sorry. We need new TBI agents too. Bill Lee, Tennessee better get it together, because I'm telling you, by 2026, Bullhorn Betty's rolling in your state, baby. I like you, Mr. Bill Lee, but don't think I won't roll you over under a bus myself. I probably wouldn't. My boyfriend likes you a little bit, so we'll be a little nicer to you, Mr. Bill Lee. We'll be a little nicer to you. But that bromance you got with my boyfriend's only gonna last for so long. I'm just saying. I'm being nice. I'm just saying. I need to stop. Melania, I'm moving in. I'll take the East Wing. I'm just joking. That's how rumors get started. Hopefully the new DA will be determined. And you know what? But see, that's what I want to impress upon people in Tennessee. Like, this is your opportunity. Like, this is your community. Do you really want a child disappearing and everybody shut the whole community out and tell you to go F yourself? Because I'm telling you, I've never in my life, every place I've been across this United States, ever seen anything like I've seen in Sumner County. I know. I knew we were in Barney Fife neighborhood when I saw what I saw. Okay, and I knew that they were complete utter idiots when I got arrested for hashtags while I was sitting here in Florida. I still want to know, to the idiot, what is his name? Ron Blanton, Judge Ron Blanton, that asshat. I still want to know what jurisdiction they had when I'm in Florida and a Florida resident. But, he's an idiot that needs to lose his job. Maybe if he paid a little more attention to his son, maybe his son wouldn't have had all those emotional problems. Just saying. There's a lot to be said. Have to, get my video. I keep moving, and good gracious, the freaking camera falls off. But I'm gonna rip them apart. Like, they have no idea. Like, even after all the lawsuits and everything are all done and over with, I'm not done until every last one of them is out of office. They're going to be blowing bubbles. I'm telling you. These asshats are going to be blowing bubbles and having BHB coming out of their mouths into their retirement. I can promise you that. Into their retirement. Into their retirement. But I can guarantee you that this is a lesson for them as well, because I don't think they'll ever do this again. At least if they do, they're going to know what the stakes are. Because I have a funny feeling something's going to happen. Who gets Hulk Hogan's $25 million net worth after his death? It sounds to me like Hulk Hogan cut his entire spoiled brat children out of his life. I do not agree with that. I think that, just me personally, I don't really agree with that. I think my camera's not going to stay on. This program literally cannot keep my camera on. StreamYard has no ability to keep my fucking camera on. Can you believe this? I can. It sounds to me like he had a lot of problems with his children. And this happens, when you have a celebrity parent, children, typically get spoiled. And when you're actually a decent parent and you see what's going on with your children, you act. And you say, no, I'm not going to hand you everything that I had to work my entire rear end off for. If you want something, get off your butt and go get it yourself. That's what good parents do, right? We want to give our kids everything we didn't have to an extent. But when you take their ability to actually stand on their own 2 feet, you're doing your children a disservice. I'm sorry. Take the advice. Don't take the advice. Whatever you choose to do is whatever you choose to do. But trust me, I'm telling you, you're doing a disservice to your children. And so there was a lot of family problems. And he felt like his wife and children hated him. They left him by himself. F him, F this, F that. And then he moves on, gets another woman that pulled him out of his depression, and she put him back on solid ground mentally and physically. And so he left his children completely, from my understanding, out of their inheritance. Again, that all it's going to do is make them hate their father for the rest of the eternity. It's going to screw with their head for the rest of the time that they are on this earth. And I'm sure no matter what he feels, if he knows the consequences of his actions, I'm pretty sure he would not have done it. That's just my opinion. But it's, again, not my place. He's a grown-ass man, and he made his decision. He wanted to cut his kids out of his life. Okay. But I still think it was wrong. And I will always think it is wrong. Because despite family fights, after you go, you never get to say you're sorry, even if you'd mean it. You never get to tell them that you love them again, even if you mean it. To me, it is something that will always and forever. Now, if you're trying to be mean and trying to hurt your children and trying to make sure that the rest of their life has this regret, then do that. And maybe that's what he wanted to do. I don't know. I just think it was wrong. But people can do what they choose to do. We're going to try to keep this on. Since StreamYard can't handle a background, we'll do it this way. I hate StreamYard. If you are new to content creating on YouTube or any other platform, I'm going to tell you, stay away from StreamYard. It sucks. These people cannot figure out how to fix their program. 3 years ago, loved it. Ran perfectly. Never a problem. They jacked the rates up almost 3 times the price, which hey, if it's working, if it's a program that's working, I'll pay the price. But it hasn't. It drops my camera. It won't let me have my background. It won't let me play videos without it doing things. So I will be spending the rest of the afternoon getting us on a new blessed system. Okay, I'm going to get us on a system, whether it's OBS, Streamlabs, something. I'm putting us on a different platform than what we have right now. I was going to do Restream. I don't like Restream. I actually hate Restream more than I hate StreamYard. So, yeah, StreamYard sucks, and it really does. So let me just tell you guys, if you're new to content creating, my suggestion is learn OBS, learn Streamlabs, stay away from StreamYard. They need a new engineer. Until they fire the engineer they have and hire a new engineer, I will never, ever, ever promote their software. I will never, ever, ever use their software. We literally have 2 more days of this garbage and we're done. We are literally done. DONE, stick a fork in it, done. So, I like your room. Yeah, it's my office. I don't like it because it's a little messy. I've got all the court papers and stuff, over here and all my books over here. But when this is all cleaned up, it's nice. This is kind of what, this is kind of everything right here, It's kind of my I don't know. Karma table? I don't know. Good juju table? We got coffee, a warm and delicious alternative to hating everybody every morning for forever. Believe in the possibilities. Fearless. Not bossy, just aggressively helpful. Home is where the dog is. Fueled by coffee and true crime. My Bullhorn Betty. Thankful, grateful, and blessed. Coffee, because murder is wrong. We've got our photo of me, Tony, and Seth whenever the corrupt county of Sumner County decided to show their... Well, no, it was just when Ron Blanton showed he was just as corrupt as every other mother in the county. And then, of course, that's the most important. You will never influence the world by trying to be like it. Stand on your own, be at your own, and it's okay to be you, right? I'm not going to be in this. I've never asked anybody permission to be me. I've never asked anybody permission to speak. I've never asked anybody permission whether I'm allowed to have an opinion. And I damn sure have not ever tried to destroy another human being for having one. Okay? We leave that to the pieces of shit on these platforms. Like the Queen Bee channel. So there is that. But that's really all I have for today, because now that I'm getting frustrated that I can't have a background and my camera's not working, we're going to go through what I've got here, which is Michael Monkey Vaughn. And then we have another story that's breaking out right now. And believe it or not, it's another University of Idaho student. But this was back from 1981. And she vanished from the University of Idaho while riding a bike and was killed and dismembered. She was a victim. Was she a victim of a serial killer? And they're kind of diving into that right now. There was also a second grenade linked to the deadly LA Sheriff Training Center blast that took the lives of 3 agents. There's a second grenade, and they're saying that it's missing. So I'm a little like, what is going on in LA? But again, no offense to my beautiful people from California, no matter what side of the aisle you guys are on. I've been getting a lot of people from California reaching out to me. And again, from all walks of life here, related to Spencer Pratt and what he's doing out there. And there's been a lot of people that have been coming forward that are just tired. So, I'm sorry that you guys are all going through this. And I know that the men and women of LA, the beat cops, the brave men, and trust me, LA is no joke. Those officers that put that uniform on in some areas, God bless them. God bless them for the courage. I can't imagine what it's like to be an officer in LA. I really can't. That is we watch that stuff for entertainment, right? Like, what do we do? If we're bored one day, what would we be doing on this? See, it just kicked my camera for no reason again. What would we be doing? You know what we'd be doing? We would be watching not a raid, what do they call a police chase? Police chases all the time in LA. I bet you if we were to turn it on right now, we'd have a police chase in LA right now. Raise your hand if you believe me. Watch me the one day that I would go and check to see if there was somebody running away from law enforcement in LA. But it's probably going to be the only day that there isn't. But I still feel like something's going on there, and I feel so bad for LA because they're targeted. You know, those officers are targeted by everybody. They can't even go into people's houses and get bad people off the streets. You know, when Grady Judd sent his officers out there to execute a search warrant, the LA sheriff told them they can't go knock and capture the officers. They've got to wait for them to walk out of their house. What in the ever-loving? I have never in my life heard that. You know what? And I would have probably chewed those beat cops' butts out. And you know, it's not even their fault. Because that's their top brass forcing them in those conditions. And the only reason why they're forcing their officers in those conditions is because their officers' lives are in jeopardy. You would think that law enforcement would make a stand to people that are putting their law enforcement in jeopardy and say, yeah, we ain't doing this shit. You do this crap, we're bulldozing your mother house down. Play with us. Play with us. That's what I expect from law enforcement. You want to raise your gun to our officers? Meet our bulldozer. Go ahead, shoot. But we don't have that. You know why? Because we have a bunch of P-U-Y. Exactly. All day long, every day. He's never without content. Courtesy of LA. Courtesy of LA. So Spencer Pratt has really been getting on it. And Governor Newsom, I don't know if you guys heard it, stole $50 million from the fire relief. And then after stealing it, wants to say he's going to run for president. The dude's already lost the race. I don't think he realizes it yet. Gavin Newsom is not even getting on the ballots. He's done. He may actually be pictured, but I don't think it's going to be on the flyer for the next president. I don't know. Again, just my opinion. If you like Gavin Newsom, I feel really sorry for you, but I still love you anyways. I'm not a Gavin Newsom fan. But I also don't have to live in his state, so it's not like I love him or hate him. I just can't stand to see the suffering in his state and to know that those are our people suffering, you know? So that's all we have to say about that. There's also a 13-year-old child. Where is it? Hold on. There's also a missing 13-year-old child. I'm trying to find it. And I lost her. Hold on a second. Aww. I lost it, guys. Huh. Where is she? And lastly, what is it? This is the second. We just had a couple weeks ago a doctor, a dentist, I believe she was, come to Florida with her daughter, Aria, and she was 4 years old and she drowned her in the pool. And then another father brings his 9-year-old daughter here into Tennessee, I believe it was, or was it New York? Something. And he unalives her. So now we have Canadians coming to the States to unalive their children. I want you guys to hear that again. Now we have Canadians coming over the border to unalive their children. Oh, and for the people that are talking about Texana and this whole nonsense, what she's doing, I had somebody bring me that. I told people they need to call law enforcement right away. What she is doing is poisoning any possibility of any sighting of Sebastian. I heard her. Are you sure? Here, let me give you some money. You don't buy. First of all, that right there, in and of itself, nothing she does is going to be able to go to law enforcement. If it goes to law enforcement, they're going to have to toss it because she's screwed with it so bad because she's too much of an idiot to realize you can't get sightings that way. Okay? She's harassed. She's harassed everybody. She's harassed everybody. The bitch needs to be in a mental ward. Just saying. She needs to be in a mental ward, not out searching for children. The lady's scary. Like, if I was a child and she was coming up, I would think she's trying to arm me. Just saying. She looks like a pedo. Just saying. I'd be scared. I'd be scared. But what she's doing is she's trying to give homeless people food and money to say that they saw Sebastian Rogers. One, I think that's obstruction of justice because of how she's doing it. So I actually think that there is criminal element to what she's doing. And I think that that needs to be turned over to law enforcement. You can't go out and buy people's testimony. Okay? And when you hand them food and say, are you sure this isn't the kid you see? You're trying to buy their testimony. And so that is, in my opinion, tampering with evidence and obstruction of justice. So I don't know. I think that people need to be reporting this behavior, not just to Tennessee, but also Texas, where she lives. I'll get you guys the city that she lives in, so you guys can report it directly to their sheriffs there. But if you guys are seeing where she's coercing people to say that they've seen Sebastian Rogers, you guys need to be reporting that to law enforcement. I'd be calling the FBI as well to be putting them on notice. Now, I have not witnessed it. I don't watch her, but people have been describing what she's doing. And to me, it sounds like that is kind of over the line legally, lawfully. So if you guys have personally previewed and or witnessed that, please screen capture what she's doing and turn that over to law enforcement. You guys know all law enforcement's number. You can reach out to 1-800-TBI find. I think the Memphis FBI, she lives in, I'll figure out the county in Texas that she lives in. And then you guys can report it there if you guys do see her doing that. I just want to make sure that, this is a safe place. And I want to make sure she's not harassing little children because she's a scary looking lady. Okay. And from what I've been described is she's well went over that line. But again, we'll have to see how that is handled by law enforcement. But I'm not the one to make those decisions. I think that law enforcement would be the ones to make those decisions. So it needs to be turned over to law enforcement, not to Bullhorn Betty. There's nothing I can do about it, right? I can say I think the behavior is appalling. I think that it goes against the law, obstruction, tampering with evidence, trying to get witnesses and paying them, trying to give them money or food for their testimony, I think is the crux of the situation. So I really do think she has now risen to the level of criminal conduct. But again, I'm unaware. I don't know 100. So it's just my opinion. The best people that would be able to tell you whether she's gone over the line or not is law enforcement. And they're the ones that would handle that kind of action. So if you're seeing it, if you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And people don't need to be harassed by this crazy looking lady. They just don't need to be. So I think that's really all I have today. I'm trying to go through some of the stuff that I'm looking at here. Ooh, breaking 6 minutes ago. Homicide investigation is now underway for missing Arkansas teen. 3 in custody, y'all. Homicide investigation underway for missing Arkansas teen. 3 suspects in custody. Camden, Arkansas. What the hell is going on with Arkansas? Are we going to have to start moving into Arkansas? This is like the third. Isn't Bibbs County in Arkansas where that that child rink, S-rink was? I want to say ring, but you know how YouTube and everybody is, right? Wasn't that in Arkansas? Then we have the Devil's Mountain in Arkansas. And now we have this in Camden, Arkansas. This is all 1 week, y'all. Arkansas is making is rearing its head. I used to want to move to Arkansas, not anymore. Wow. So the case of a missing Arkansas teen has been evaluated to a homicide investigation, Camden police confirm on Monday. Authorities initially began investigating 8-year-old Brandon Robertson's disappearance on July 25th. This is something that just 3 days ago. As Camden police worked alongside with Ouachita, I don't know, county. I'm sorry, it's hard for me with these names. Department in Arkansas State Police to locate the missing teen. During their investigation, police determined that Robertson had been involved in an altercation with 3 individuals on July 24th, the day before he was reported missing. Reports stated that the incident is believed to have taken place at Sandy Beach Park in Camden. On July 26, police issued warrants for 3 people involved in the altercation who were left unnamed by authorities. Authorities, quit leaving these people's if they are big enough to get arrested and have handcuffs on them, quit protecting them. Quit protecting them. The public has the right to know. I'm so sick of people saying we have no right to know. Who the hell is paying these people's paycheck? We absolutely have a right to know. That's why they gave us freedom of press, ingrained in our Constitution. One of the suspects was taken into custody in Union County, and the other 2 were taken into custody in Bossier City, Louisiana. Bossier City, Louisiana. Police said that it was determined that the incident took place outside of Camden city limits. Camden police turned the investigation over to Ouachita County Sheriff's Department on July 26. That's all we have. This appears to be, I'm going to bring the kid up. This appears to be the kid that was killed. That was the wrong one. Hold on. Right here. I mean, you could tell that he's probably, from more of a rougher neck. You can tell just by his appearance that, maybe he tries to act a little harder, gangy type, thuggy. But we all kind of go through that. It's Wichita. Oh, Wichita. Okay. Oh, Wichita. Thank you, Karen. Hopefully I got it. Oh, Wichita. Hopefully I got it. Oh, Wichita. I'll probably still butcher it. But, I mean, you just on the appearance, you can see that the quicks of his eyes are red. So that tells me he's probably, smoking pot. He's kind of got this, lean with his hands over. So he kind of, wants to look like kind of hard, like a, and I think all people go through these phases in life. I mean, I look back on my life and I went through like a preppy phase, a thug phase. I just went through a lot of phases, and one of those phases was thug-like. I had my pants down to my waist. I know it's hard for you guys to think of me like that. And had bandanas on. Bandanas, pants down to my waist. What up? What up, my dog? Hey! Thug Betty. Thug Betty. All right, Thug Betty. Did I tell you I don't remember my 20s? I don't remember my 20s, okay? Sorry, I just don't. Was it fun? Probably not. I don't remember. I'm good. I'm good. But we do have a child that's deceased. He's a young adult. He's a teenager. He's 18 years old. He's an adult, but it's still just sad because no matter what, parents, you do your best, right? You know when your child's struggling, whether you struggle in silence or not, or go and get that child help and try to get them, back on track, or what the case may be. But when your child's waning, and it's got to be very, very, very hard. And I got to tell my parents this, and you take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt. Your children are going to have a lot of problems. I know you're probably going to judge me for this, and I'll take the judgment. I'm going to stand on this. If you're going to have a father or a mother working around the clock, okay, somebody that's just making a lot of money, trying to keep the being the breadwinner of the family, then you have to have a parent that stays home with the children. Okay? I mean, you don't have to. But if you don't want all the things that go along with public education, you're going to have to. Because what typically happens when parents are gone, even if a parent has to work a part-time job or whatever, then I would do something like that. But I know so many of us have to work 2 full-time jobs, right? Dad has to work full-time. Mom has to work full-time. If they have to work overtime, they have to work overtime. But it's really doing a disservice, in my opinion, to our children, not just here and now, but in the long run. We're seeing more young adults starting engaging into substance abuse a lot sooner. The types of substances that they're getting involved in are a lot more addictive as their gateway drug. There's a lot of statistics that go along into this, and it's not it has nothing to do with your parenting style. I'm not saying you're terrible parents because you're working and putting food on the table. What I'm telling you is, do you need the flipping BMW? Is the BMW really worth it to you? Is having the nicest house in the community really worth it to you? Because what you're sacrificing is your time with your family and your children to have material things. And you're buying your children material things because you're not there to give them you. Those things are having negative effects on our children when they get into their adulthood. And, we can act like it's not because we have the nice house and the BMW and the $100,000 401k. But look at Judge Ron Blanton. I don't know his situation, but I know mine, and I know that I never would ever have thought of substances had I not been suffering from my own childhood trauma. Was that nice house and that car worth it? Because fast forward to when I was sitting in his courtroom, he had just lost his son to substance abuse. Again, was that big house and that fancy car worth it? That's what I think people need to start asking themselves. Because I'm thinking, a 1,200 square foot ranch home so that mom can stay home and raise the kids while dad goes to work, or just the opposite, mom's the breadwinner, dad can be doing, with the kids. Do you think the children are going to be wanting to fill their bodies up with substances? I don't know. But I always have to ask myself, is it really worth it? I don't know. All right, guys. Well, I guess we just don't know a whole lot today. It's sad. We lost a lot of great people last week. This week, we're learning that a lot of stuff is going on in Arkansas. A lot of bad stuff. We're still getting absolutely nowhere in Tennessee in any of our cases. All of our cases still remain unsolved under Tennessee's leadership in multiple counties. Under Tennessee's leadership, all of our cases are still active and open, even 4 years later in many cases. No arrests. Not one arrest in any of the cases we've ever covered in Tennessee. Not one arrest. Billy, not one arrest in any of the cases we have covered in the state of Tennessee. Not one. Not one. Alabama. Is that where Biggs was? I think you're right. And maybe it was an A state. And maybe it's Alabama. Biggs, Alabama. So thank God. So Arkansas just has some homicidal maniacs in them. Alabama has some straight up evil. And there is one mama that was arrested that I would love. I almost want to go to Alabama. Get in a bar fight just to go to jail. Just so I can see mama. I'm glad I'm not 20 years old anymore. I would be in so much trouble. If I was trying to do this job at 20 years old, I don't know. It takes a lot of just patience. But there is one woman. She had 4 children, and she's. We ain't going there. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. And we will see you guys really soon. I don't know what's going on this week. Okay, come here. Say hi to everybody. Come on. Say hi. Say she's my mommy now. I know it's time for her to get off here so she can go play ball. Do you want to go play ball? Let everybody hear how you act to play ball. You want to play ball? Tell them. They don't understand. Tell them. What do you want to do? Oh, you're being too nice. You don't talk to me like that. Where do you want to go? She's being too good because she knows I'm still live with you. You want what? What? Are we gonna go ball? You wanna go play ball? Told you. She goes crazy. She was holding back. He was holding back. I knew I'd get her. Listen, come here. Come on. She won't even come to me. She's like, Mom, I want to play ball now. You said the word. All right, guys, I gotta go. She's very demanding. Before we go, I want to say thanks to everybody. Cash, member for 3 months. God bless you. Melanie, happy Monday. Betty, Delilah, Mods. And chat, I hope everyone is doing well. Prayers for whoever needs it. Thank you so much. Eeyore Blue. Elizabeth, thank you so much. We got Cash saying nice piano. Thank you. Good morning, BHB Mods in chat. Thank you, Lisa. I hope you're doing well. Did you hear about Arkansas man on the run? I think that's what we were just talking about. Stephanie, it's nice to see you. Our beautiful Jen, 33 months. Good gracious, woman. Good gracious. You ain't tired of me yet? OG crew. Love my beans. Blessed to be here. Aw, we love you too, honey bunny. We love you too. All right, guys. You guys hear? She hasn't stopped crying. It's time to go play ball. So I will be back later this afternoon with a worn out poopy. All right, guys, we will see you soon. Very, very soon.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been